Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf, Pesachim Daf Chav Gimel. We are 8 lines from the top of the Amud, and in the midst of a discussion between Chizkiah and Rabbi Yehuda. Chizkiah says, wherever the Torah employed a term, Lo Yeyachel, that's meant to include not only Isra Achila, but also Isra Hanoah as well. Yeyachel means it can bring to Achila. For instance, if you have Hanoah from something and you go, let's say, sell it, you can take that money and purchase food. So in effect, this thing is leading and resulting in Achila. So Hanoah can bring Achila, and that's why when the pasuk says Lo Yeyachel, it's coming to include anything, any form of benefit which can even lead to Achila. So not only direct eating, but also indirect eating. For instance, having Hanoah, which can lead to Achila. So according to Chizkiah, Lo Yeyachel includes not only Achila, but also Hanoah. Whereas according to Rabbi Yehuda, any reference to Achila, whether Lo Yeyachel, Lo Yochel, Lo Yisaychel, automatically Hanoah is included. Apparently that's also a form. The Rabbi benefit is also somewhat a form of consuming the item, just like Achila is. So an Achila and Hanoah are synonymous, go together. Isra Achila automatically includes Isra Hanoah. The Gemara will begin by presenting 3 instances where we find the Torah refers to Isra Achila, but the item still seems to be Mutar B'Hanoah. This will be a kasha on Rabbi Yehuda. Begins the Gemara 8 lines from the top of the Amud. Let's begin with Truma. Varei Truma. The Rachmana Amar, the pasuk says, V'chol zor lo yechal kodesh. A non-kohen cannot partake in Truma. He can't eat Truma, but still we find that he can have Hanoah. Utnan arvin lenazir b'yayin. So we can establish an erev techumin using wine, even for a nazir who can't partake in wine. Rashi explains because technically he can drink the wine if he would undo the Naziris. He knows his vow and he becomes a non-nazir, he can drink that wine. So therefore we consider it suitable for the erev techumin of the nazir. But truma, likewise, you can use truma to establish the erev techumin for the Yisrael. So although he's limited to 2,000 amah from the city, but by placing some food there, at the end of that boundary, that becomes his Shabbos residence and allows him to go 2,000 amah past that. So he's going to have Hanoah from the Truma. How can Yisrael have Hanoah from Truma? Now once again Rashi explains, technically he can access the Truma because he can make Hataras and Durham to annul the Truma. Truma is a form of a neder. He can undo the Truma status and revert it to Chulin, which gives him access to the Truma. So that's why we allow it to be used for the erev techumin. But the question is, in the present moment, it's still truma, and he's going to have Hanoah from that truma. How can he do that? The Torah says, Lo yochal kodesh. According to Rabbi Yehuda, that includes Isra Hanoah as well. Amar Papa Shani Hasam. There is different. Damakra trumas chem. Shalachem tehei. The Torah says it's your truma, trumas chem. Shalachem tehei, which indicates you can have access, you can have Hanoah, derive benefit from the truma. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, the pasuk has to inform us the heter Hanoah, because otherwise Hanoah would be included in the Isra Achila. V'idach. But now according to Chizkiah, who holds that unless the Torah says Lo Yeyachel, a very unique term, any other term does not include Hanoah. So over here where the pasuk simply says V'chol zor lo yechal kodesh, it only applies to Achila, not Hanoah. So why does the pasuk have to say Trumas Chem to allow Hanoah? V'idach, what is the Chizkiah going to do with this pasuk? Trumas Chem the Chol Yisrael Ka'amar. He says very simply, it's just a manner of speech. Trumas Chem means the Truma of Klal Yisrael. It's not trying to teach us anything of Heter Hanoah. Says the Gemara, okay, what about a Nazir? Varei Nazir, the Rachmana Amar, Mechar Tzanim Va'ad Zag Lo Yochal. You can't eat the pits, the skins of the grapes, the Chartzanim, the Zag of the skins, Lo Yochal. And according to Chizkiah, Lo Yochal, according to Rabbi Yehuda, Lo Yochal includes even Hanoah. And we just learned that the Nazir can have Hanoah from wine. Utnan ma'arvin l'nazir b'yayin. You can use wine for the erev. How's that so? How can I have Hanoah? Amar mazut shani hasam. Difference there is because the pasuk says, "Damakra nizaroi." The pasuk says that it should be kol yemei nizroi, all the days of his separation. Nizroi It's his nazirus. Shelo yehi. It should be his. We learn from there that although he can't actually eat grapes, drink wine, but he can have hana from them. Rav Ashi Amar, he has another teretz. Kadosh yeh gadol pera. He should be kadosh. Gadol pera. He should let his hair grow. Sa'roishay, hair of his head. We learn from there that gidulei kadosh. Only the actual growth is kadosh. Ve'en davar achar kadosh, but everything else, grapes, wine, is not kadosh. So the actual hair, he cannot have enough from. Rashi explains, he has to take it and burn it under the shlomim. When he cooks the shlomim, he puts his hair underneath. So that's asa b'hana. But ain't davar achar kadosh, but everything else, the wine, etc., it's not kadosh. He can't eat or drink it, but he can, yes, have hana from it. Midiv ain't davar achar ksiv. What does the pasuk say that only the hair is kaddish, but nothing else? Perhaps everything is kaddish. Ela mechavarto kit marzutra. Apparently, the correct approach is marzutra's approach. The pasuk says nizroi. It's his. He can derive some form of pleasure and benefit and hana from it, although he can't eat it. But hana is mutter. Says Gemara, a third kasha on Rabbi Yehuda. Varei chadash. We have chadash, the new grain, before the oimer, which is asa b'achila. The pasuk says all types of grains can't be eaten until the omer is brought on the 16th day of Nisan. Should include hana as well, according to Rabbi Yehuda. Still, we find that it's mutar b'hana, tnan koitzer l'shachas. Although generally a person is not meant to begin harvesting his grain before the omer is cut, but he can go ahead and cut the green grass grain when it's still unripe. Umachal behema, or he can hand pluck the ripe grain to feed his animal. How can he feed an animal? It's hana. It's a kasha on Rabbi Yehuda. Omar Shmarya. So Shmarya said shani hasam. There it's different. Damakra kitzirchem. The pasuk says reishis kitzirchem alakoyin. And the pasuk there is speaking about the whole concept of the chadash, and k'tzirchem comes to teach us k'tzirchem shalochem yehi. It should be yours, although you can't yet eat it before the omer is brought, but you can have hana from it. It's yours. So this is the teretz in Rabbi Yehuda. Although the pasuk speaks about isra achila, which generally includes hana, but here the Torah provided a special dispensation shalochem yehi. Now, according to Chizkiah, why was it necessary for the Torah to allow hana, if at any rate hana will never be included? V'idach, what does Chizkiah do with the pasuk tzirchem? Tzirchem nechol Yisrael mashma. Yeah, it's not trying to teach us anything special. It's just a manner of speech. Reshis tzirchem means the katzer, the harvest of Klal Yisrael. So we have three kashas on Rabbi Yehuda. Number one, truma. Number two, the yain for the nazar. Then finally, chadash, where we find a heter hana, despite the fact that the Torah references isra achila, which is generally koidel osir hana. The Gemara responded, we have special ribuyim, special psukim, drashes, to allow hana. Now the Gemara is going to ask two kashas, which will actually apply to both Chizkiah and Rabbi Yehuda, because the psukim will employ a term of lo yei achil, which all agree includes hana, and still we will find a heter hana. Vari shrotzim. What about these creatures? Rachmana Amar sheket lo yachel. It's meant to be sheket. It's repulsive, not to be eaten. Lo yei achel, which is meant to include hana as well. Utnan, and we find in the Mishnah that you can have hana. Tzayodei chayav ifes v'dogim. The animal, bird, fish trappers. Shenizdamnu lahem minin tmeim. Who chanced upon the non-kosher animals. So Rashi explains, generally speaking, not meant to engage in trapping non-kosher animals. But if they happen to encounter some of these species in their traps, they don't have to just let them go. They can sell them to a non-Jew. You can have hana from shkotzim. How can that be? Says the Gemara, Shani Hasam, difference there is, Damakra lochem. The pasuk says, V'sheketz you lochem, shalochem yehi. This teaches us that you can have it, you can have hana from it. You can't eat it, but you can have hana from it. If that's the case, then even initially, let them engage in trapping these species. Lochem, you can have enough from it. Shani hacha, damakra, yiyu. The pasuk says, "V'sheketz yiyu lachem." It's meant to remain intact. It's meant to be sheketz. repulsive, removed, off bounds. You teaches us b'havyos on you. They're meant to stay as is, shekets, keep away from them. So the kasha was, shekets, lo ye'achel, should really include hana as well. So how can these trappers derive benefit from the non-kosher animals? The answer is, the pasuk does allow for some form of hana by using the word lachem, which indicates you can have some limited hana, such as in this case. Continues the Gemara. Well, Chizkiah. Now, we have a kasha, because Chizkiah, he's the one that says that a general reference to Isra Achil doesn't automatically include hana. It's only where the pasuk says lo ye'achel, such as in the case of the shratzim. The pasuk says sheketzu lo ye'achel, it shouldn't be eaten. That includes hana as well. And that's why the Torah had to say, well, lachem, to allow the hana. Why? Why does the Torah have to say lo ye'achel, which disallows hana, and then lachem to allow hana? Why both? Just don't say lo ye'achel, and then you don't have to say lachem. Well, Chizkiah, lamali lemechta lo ye'achel. Why does the pasuk first have to say lo ye'achel? Umaisi lachem lemeshraya. Then we have to have lachem to allow. Lo yilichta v'rachmana lo ye'achel. Shouldn't the Torah rather not say lo ye'achel to begin with? V'lo boy lachem. Then we don't need lachem. Amar lach Chizkiah. So Chizkiah responds like this. Listen to this. Taima didi nami mahacha. You know, I hold that lo ye'achel is meant to include not only achila but also hana. How do I know that concept? Guess what? From this very pasuk, because of the pasuk that says sheketz hu lo ye'achel, then has to go and say lochem to allow. The pasuk here is teaching us that lo ye'achel includes hana, and from this very pasuk I derive my concept. This is my marker. I wouldn't know it otherwise. So Ozi Kasha, why does the Torah say lo ye'achel ne lochem? To teach us this very concept. That lo ye'achel includes Isra hana. That's why we need lachem to allow. So this is the source of my shita, that lo ye'achel includes hana. Continues the Gemara with another kasha from chametz, and again this is a kasha on both shitas. Varei chametz, the Rachman Amar lo ye'achel chametz, here lo ye'achel, which includes achila and hana, and still we find v'tanya Rabbi Yehuda Kessler Tom al atzmacha. You have to wonder on yourself. Hey chametz asur b'hana kol shiva. Start thinking, why? How do we know that chametz is asur b'hana throughout Pesach? So basically, it disagrees with the concept of Isra hana by chametz. He holds it's mutar b'hana. How? How can that be? Lo ye'achel chametz includes hana. Shani hasam, difference there is because the makrova lo yiro l'cha sa'ir. Rabbi Yehuda uses this pasuk to teach you heter hana. L'cha teaches you shel chaye. It should be yours somewhat. You can't eat it, but you can have hana from chametz. So that's the source of Rabbi Yehuda's sheet. Yeah, lo ye'achel chametz generally would include hana. Rabbi Yehuda has a special pasuk to allow hana. Ve'rabbanan. So what do they do with the pasuk lo yiro l'cha? They hold that it's asur b'hana. Shel chaye ataroya, aval ataroya shel acherim shel gavaya. L'cha teaches you your own chametz you may not see, but shel acherim belongs to a guy, or shel gavaya to hegdish, then there's no problem possessing that chametz. So that's what l'cha is coming to teach you, but not coming to you matter. No, v'idach. What does Rabbi Yehuda do? Tzrei l'cha ksivi. The Torah actually uses the word l'cha twice. So one is going to teach you your halacha, that if it belongs to the guy or the hegdish, there's no concern. And the second l'cha will teach you that it's yours somewhat. You could have enough from chametz on Pesach. V'idach. So what do the Rabbanim respond? We need both l'chas to teach you that chametz which belongs to a guy is mutter, and that we're speaking about two different scenarios, two different types of goyim. Chad b'nochesh b'kibashtoi. One is in reference to a guy who you've conquered, who you control, and even that type of guy, even his chametz, which is more accessible to you, even that's mutter. It's not yours, it's his. And the other, speaking about a standard guy who you don't have control over, and his chametz is less accessible to you. So the pasuk has to tell you in both cases. Not only if it's inaccessible, even if it's a guy who's under your control, even that type of chametz is mutter, because at the end of the day it's not yours. So that's why we need two l'chas. But they're both in reference to the chametz of a goy, but of course, the chametz is asur b'hana, because there's no pasuk to be matir. That's the Rabbanah's response. So Rabbi Yossi respond to them, v'idach, tlas l'cha ksiv. There were actually 3 times l'cha in the pasuk. So you're right, 2 are needed for the case of the goy, and the third remaining one to teach you that the chametz is yours somewhat, meaning you can have connection, hana, from it. V'idach, so what did the Rabbanan say? Chad b'sar, v'chad b'chametz, it's richi. It's not really 3 lechas, because 2 are by sar, and there's 1 by chametz. Chametz and sar are not a repetition, they're both needed. There's a chiddush by each one. So at the end of the day, you really only have 2 lechas, because it says twice by sar. And they're both needed for the chametz of a guy, and you don't have an extra one for heterana. Let's see Rashi here. So down at the wide line, the second wide line. This is Rabbi Yossi responding. There are 3 references to lecha. Lo yirah lecha chametz, that's number 1. V'lo yirah lecha sa'or b'chol gvelecha. V'oid krachrina, v'lo yirah lecha sa'or b'chol gvelecha. Shivas yamim. So 1 by chametz and twice by sa'or. Says Rabbi Yossi, 2 who we applied for the din of the chametz of the goy, 2 types of goyim, and the third one to teach you that it's yours, you can have a no. The Rabbanan responded no, because it's not actually a triple reference. 2 are by sa'or, but 1 is by chametz, and chametz and sa'or are needed. Utzrichi, because of sa'or, because of the Torah only speak about sa'or mishum dechimutz kasha, because it's a very severe form of chametz. It can the sourdough, it can go make other things chametz. So perhaps only that would be asur. Aval chametz ema mutter, but chametz, which is a lighter form of chametz, perhaps would be mutter to have in your house. Because of chametz, if the pasuk would only speak about chametz, I would say, yeah, chametz. Mishum the roy lachila, because it's edible. Av sa'or, the loy roy lach asur lemechlei, emaloi overlay. But when it comes to sa'or, which is inedible, you're not going to come to eat it. Perhaps there's no isur. Hacham farshlam perkam the beitza. Rashi is quoting Gemara and beitza. Okay, so all the l'chaz are needed. So although we really have 3, 2 by sa'or and 1 by chametz, but the 1 by chametz is not extra. You need to have 1 by sa'or or by chametz to teach you the same thing, because perhaps you can differentiate between the 2. So at the end of the day, you really only have 1 extra one. Why does it have to say l'cha twice by sa'or? Okay, so that teaches us that the chametz of a goy is mutter, and we have to apply it to 2 different types of goyim, and we don't have an extra l'cha to be matir b'hana. So this is the back and forth between Rabbi Yossi and the Rabbanan, whether or not chametz on Pesach is asur b'hana. Okay, so we had a kasha from chametz, because the pasuk says lo yachel, and we find that there's a shita which allows hana. Lo yachel should include hana as well, according to all opinions. Chizki and Rabbi Yehuda all responded that Rabbi Yossi heter is based on another pasuk, lecha shalacha yehei, which teaches you heter hana. Continues the Gemara. Perhaps this very machlekes is between Chizki and Rabbi Yehuda, where Chizki says only the term lo ye'achel includes hana, but not a general reference to Isra Achila. Whereas Rabbi Yehuda says any reference to Isra Achila automatically includes hana. Perhaps this machlekes is actually contingent on a machlekes Tanai. The pasuk here is speaking about using chelev of an animal, chelev of a nevela. The pasuk says you can use it. You can use it for your work, for any of your malacha. Why does the pasuk have to say you can use it l'chol malacha? What's l'chol coming to add? So you have 2 opinions. First is Rabbi Yehuda Kessler. Perhaps you can use chelev for heavenly work, for the Beis Hamikdash, a job in the Beis Hamikdash. But for non-Mikdash malacha, perhaps it would be asur. Rashi explains because the chelev generally goes on the mizbeach, so it's eaten by the mizbeach, by the Beis Hamikdash. Perhaps even this chelev, which is an avela, can be used for Beis Hamikdash purposes. But a hedyot, just an ordinary person, perhaps he can't have a na from chelev. Tamalei l'chol malacha. So you also l'chol malacha is coming to inform us that even a hedyot can use chelev. There's no concern about hana. He's allowed to derive pleasure from the chelev. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda Kessler. It's actually not coming to teach us heter hana, rather coming to teach us that it is not Tomei. Perhaps for non-Migdash use, Melechas Hedyot, we deem the Chaylev to be Tor. But the Melechas Kavaya Tomei. Perhaps if you'd like to use it for a Melacha in Beis HaMikdash, since the Beis HaMikdash has a higher level of Kedusha, perhaps this Chaylev is not suitable for that purpose. It is deemed a Tomei for the Beis HaMikdash purposes. Tamaloi Melacha Melacha. So you also Chol Melacha includes even Beis HaMikdash use. Explains the Gemara. Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, so that was the first shita. Lo Tuma lo Tahara lo Isracha. Apparently he doesn't need a pasuk for halachas of Tuma v'Tahara. Ki Isracha lo Isra v'Heta. He only needs the pasuk for Isra v'Heta to allow having hana from this chaylev, even for melechas hedyot for ordinary use. So according to him, the pasuk is allowing hana. In contrast with Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Akiva Isra v'Heta leitzar kra. We apparently don't need a pasuk for Isra v'Heta to allow use. Ki Isra lo Tumah v'Tahara. It's only for the Tumah v'Tahara context that you need a pasuk to tell you that even if you use the chaylev for the migdash, it's not considered tamei. So what's the basis of the disagreement? My love apparently this is the machlekes here. So basically the savar, he goes like this: Lo yisaychlu. When the pasuk says you're not meant to eat chaylev, mashma, that includes bein isra achila bein isra no. So basically it is in line with Rabbi Avo that any reference to isra achila includes achila and hana. So that's why you need a pasuk to be mater bahana. So then when the pasuk comes and says you can use it, what's the pasuk coming to tell us? The pasuk is coming to override the isra hana, which would have been implied from the word loisaychlu. Loisaychlu generally includes hana as well. That's why the Torah has to exert itself and express itself clearly. You may have hana, and even a non-Hegdish entity may derive pleasure from it. So apparently Rabbi Yehuda is following, is in line with Rabbi Avo, that loisaychlu generally includes hana. That's why the pasuk needs to be mat. Rabbi Akiva savar, however, he holds, no. He's in line with Chizkiah, that unless it says lo yachel, it will never include hana. Loisaychlu by chaylev doesn't include hana. That's why you don't need a pasuk to be mater b'hana. Rabbi Akiva savar isra achila mashma. It only has isra achila included. Isra hana lo mashma. It doesn't apply isra hana. So what then is the pasuk coming to allow? Hana we already know. Apparently the pasuk is coming l'tumah v'tahara to inform you that there's no concern of tumah even when you use the chaylev in the Beis HaMikdash. So that's so that these Tanaim are in line with those Amoraim. The Kuli Alma, everybody perhaps will hold loisaychlu mashma bein isra achila bein isra hana. Perhaps everybody holds like Rabbi Avo. Any reference to isra achila would automatically include any form of consuming and ingestion, achila and hana. So what then is the machlekes here between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Akiva? Machlekes over here is as follows. Rabbi Yehuda savar, he holds like this: when the pasuk says lo yisaychlu, you may not eat chaylev, certainly that includes achila and hana as well. Now, although we know that the Torah tells us that we may have hana from an avela, right? We learned that earlier. One may send an avela to a ger, sell it to a guy. Now the question is, what was included in that heter? When the Torah says you may have hana from an avela, what portion of the animal is included? When an avela was permitted for hana, hutra. It was only the actual flesh, the basa, the main portion, the main edible portion of the nevela that became mutar b'hana. Only that's included. Chelba v'gida lo yotru. However, it's fat, it's gid hanasha. That wasn't included in the heter. That's not considered part and parcel of the animal, of the main portion of the nevela. That's not automatically included in the heter. So just by the fact that the Torah says you can have enough from a nevela, it doesn't automatically imply they can have enough from chaylev or from a gid hanasha. That's why the Torah over here has to say, yeah, one may have hana from chaylev. So the pasuk here is needed to tell you heter hana. That's basically his approach. Again, loisaychlu by chaylev includes achila and hana. So how do we know to be mater hana by chaylev? The fact that the Torah allows you to have enough from nevela doesn't automatically include the chaylev within the animal, because the chaylev isn't really an integral part. It's not a primary element within the animal. So we don't yet know that a heter no by chaylev. That's why the Torah had to tell us. Yeah, you can use a chaylev l'chol malacha, and the chiddush is even l'mlachas hedyot. A non-kodesh entity can derive hana from chaylev. At the same time, Rabbi Yehuda doesn't require a pasuk to be metayr the chaylev for the same reason, because the chaylev isn't tamei. Why would it be tamei? It's not part of the basar. That explains why Rabbi Yehuda applies the pasuk for heter hana. For Rabbi Akiva Savar, he holds likewise that lo soichlu by chaylev includes achila and hana. However, there's no need for a pasuk to be mater chaylev b'hana. You know why? We already know it from nevela. The Torah was mater hana by nevela, and that includes everything within it: the basar, the chaylev, and the gidanash. K'shutru nevela, when the Torah was mater nevela, chelba v'gida nami yutru. It's chaylev and it's gida also included in the heter. You don't need a pasuk to be mater chaylev. We already know it from nevela. However, the pasuk here is needed, but for what? The tumah v'tahara, to tell you that, despite the fact that the chaylev is part and parcel, integral part of this animal, don't think it's tamei. Rather, you can use it even in the Beis Hamikdash. There's no concern of tumah. Let's see Rashi up from the top of the Amud. So first, with Rabbi Yehuda, who says that the Isser by chaylev applies to achila and hana, and despite the fact that the Torah was mater levela b'hana, but that only includes the basar chelba v'gidul lehutru. Why, says Rashi, the chaylev ain't b'chal basar. Chaylev isn't automatically included in basar. Hilkach lehava v'mashma titnana v'achala. It's not included in the heter of giving it and selling it, which is stated by nevela. V'gabi neger b'nivlasa nami lav chaylev v'mashma. At the same time, says Rashi, when the pasuk says a person touches the nevela, he becomes tamei, it's not automatically going to include chaylev, because chaylev isn't considered part of the basar. So as a result of this approach, hilkach yasal l'chol malacha, the pasuk over here by chaylev, which allows you to use the chaylev l'chol malacha, lo yitzruch l'tare, wasn't needed to be matar the chaylev, which wasn't tamei in the first place. Ela latiroi michlal hanois lo yisoicha al chaylev. Apparently, it was coming to you matter and tell you that you can have hana from it, despite the fact that the Torah says don't eat the chaylev, which includes hana. The Torah says you can have hana by chaylev. That's Rabbi Yehuda's approach, and that's why the pasuk is needed to be mater b'hana, as opposed to Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva Savar, he says just the opposite. Chaylev b'chal nevela. Chaylev is automatically included in the nevela. It's part and parcel of the animal. Bein leheter hana, whether with respect to heter hana, if the nevela is mutar b'hana, the chaylev is included. Bein letamei, with respect to tumah as well. Hilkach yisrich kro l'tar yisrich. That's why the pasuk here evidently is coming to be matar. That it's mutar b'hana, we know regardless, because an nevela is mutar b'hana. Everything included in the nevela, including the chaylev, is mutar b'hana. But for that very same reason, we need a pasuk to be matar the chaylev, because if the chaylev is included in the animal is a nevela, and the nevela is tamei, so the chaylev automatically is tamei as well. Evidently, says Rabbi Akiva, the pasuk here is needed to be matar the chaylev and tell you, well, chaylev is, end of the day, is different than basar, and there's no tumah, even if you should choose to use it in the Beis Hamikdash. So the Gemara asks that perhaps the machlokes Tanaim is in line with the machlokes Amoraim. Chizkiah and Ravon, the Gemara responded, not necessarily. Perhaps all agree with Rabbi Yehuda's approach that any reference to achil includes hana as well. And the reason why Rabbi Akiva didn't need a pasuk to be mater b'hana, because the heter hana was already derived from the vela, which included everything within it. Continues the Gemara. For Rabbi Yehuda, according to him, that chaylev and gidanasha isn't automatically included in the heter of the basar nevela. So that's why the pasuk had to be mater chaylev specifically. Ashkelon chaylev, the shai rachmana b'hana. Okay, so we found that the Torah was mater chaylev b'hana. Pasuk says, "Yasal l'chol malacha." You can use it for any of your purposes. It's mutar b'hana. Ela gid name asa. However, when it comes to gidanasha, we have no pasuk to allow hana. So how do we know that it's mutar b'hana? So one answer is, you're right. Gidanasha is asa b'hana. Another pshat would be Ma'isila b'kavachim. We can derive heter ana by giranasha by use of b'kavachim. Uma chelav she'onish kares. Since we find that chelav, despite the fact that it's very severe, there's an onish of kares for eating it. Mutar b'hana, it's still mutar b'hana, as we just concluded. Gid she'ena onish kares. Certainly a giranasha where there's no kares involved. Like kolshkein, certainly, of course, it would be mutar b'hana. So in conclusion, according to Rabbi Yehuda, not only is the basar of an avela mutar b'hana, that we learn from the pasuk by Nevel, you can send it to the guy, to the ger, chelav as well as mutar b'hana, because the pasuk says the asl chol malacha, and gid hanasha, despite the fact that it's asl b'achila, it's mutar b'hana, as a result of the kavachayim from chelav. Rab Shimon the asar, however, according to Rab Shimon's shita, which we learned in Nafchav Beis, who says that gid hanasha is asr b'hana? What happened to the kavachayim from chelav? He says you can refute the kavachayim. You're bringing me a raya from chelav? Mal chelav shkein huta mechlola etzel chaya. Chelav has a leniency. You know why? It has an exception. It's mutter when it comes to a chaya. You can even eat the chelav of a chaya. So we see that chelav isn't such a severe isser. So perhaps that explains why it's mutter b'hana. Toimar begid shloi huta mechlola etzel chaya. How could you compare that to gid hanasha, which is universal? We don't find any exceptions by chaya. So perhaps the gid hanasha would be asar b'hana. You can't derive from a kavachomer that it's mutar b'hana. V'idach, so does Rabbi Yehuda respond to this pircha of Rabbi Shimon? Isn't chelav a more lenient type of thing because there's an exception when it comes to chaya? He says, look, we're speaking about the chelav of a behema here. That's the context of our discussion. We're discussing the chelav of a behema, which is mutar b'achila, which is mutar b'hana, and certainly the gid hanasha. But behema, miyas le'ishteri. We don't find any heter by a chelav of behema. There's no exceptions. So it's in the context of the chelav of behema. We don't find any exceptions, and we can use that as the basis for the kavachomer. Right? If chelav, which is onish kares, is still mutar b'hana, certainly gid hanasha, where there's no kares. Of course, it would be mutar b'hana. Okay, so in summary, we have Rabbi Avo who says that any reference to Isra Achila automatically includes Hana, whereas Chizkiah says only when the Torah employed a very specific, unique term, Lo Yachil, does that include Isra Achila. The Gemara began with three difficulties. We have three instances where we find a reference to Isra Achila, but it is still mutar b'hana. We began with Truma, which a Yisrael can use for his Erev. The Gemara responded, Truma Aschem teaches us it's mutar b'hana. A wine Erev can be used for a Nazir. How's that? The answer is because it says Nizrai, Shaloi, it's his. He can have Hana from it. Although he can't eat it, he can't drink it, but Hana is mutar. How can we have Hana from Chadash grain? Kitzir Chem teaches you that it's yours. You can have Hana, can derive benefit, although you can't eat it. We concluded with two kashas which actually apply to Chizkiah and Rabbi Avo equally. We began with Shratzim, where the Torah says Loi Yei Achlu. So the pasuk there is using Lo Yachel. The pasuk is using the word Lo Yachel, which is Isra Hana according to all shittas. So how can a person have Hana? The trapper will sell the sherets. The answer is Lochem. It teaches you that you can have Hana. And we concluded with the kasha from Chametz, where the pasuk clearly says Lo Yachel Chametz, and we still find that according to Rabbi Yehuda, Hana is mutar. More responded, Rabbi Yehuda uses the extra lacha to teach you that you may have Hana. Continues the Gemara. Michti. Okay, let's take a look back at the sugi. We had Chizkiah Shita that Lo Yachel implies also Hana. Rabbi Avo says any reference to Isra Achila includes Hana as well. Michti. Oisvinu kol hanikroi. We had all these kashas from all these places where, despite the fact that the Torah refers to Isra Achila, it didn't automatically include Hana. This is the kasha on Rabbi Avo. Vishaninu, and we found the teretz to each one of these kashas. So at the end of the day, there doesn't seem to be any halachic difference between the two approaches of Chizkiah and Rabbi Avo. Because the sum total of things, only in two places will there be Isra Achila and Hana. Number one, Chametz on Pesach, and number two, by the Shar Niska, which we mentioned yesterday. So what is the machlokes between the two? Chizkiya v'Rebavo b'may pligi. In what halacha, what case are they having any machlokes? It seems that they're really one and the same shita. Says the Gemara, b'chametz v'Pesach v'aliba d'Rabbanan. The machlokes applies to chametz on Pesach according to Rabbanan, which is also b'hana. B'shar haniskel v'aliba d'Vrakah. And also with regards to the Isar Hana by Shar Niskel, and of course with all shitas, all agree that there's the Isar Hana there. So, how does the machlokes between Chizkiya and Ravo manifest itself? Chizkiya nafek le miloye achel. Chizkiya will learn these halachas from the fact that the Torah used the word lo achel in both places, chametz and Shar Niskel, which imply also Isar Hana. For Ravo, nafek le minavela. As opposed to Ravo says, any reference to Isra Achila automatically includes Hana. How do I know that? Because since by Nevela, the Torah had to go out of its way and teach you Heter Hana. That teaches us that any reference to Isra Achila automatically includes Hana. Because that's why the Torah has to say it's Mutar B'Hana, because by Nevela we only have a reference to Isra Achila. It doesn't say Lo Yachel. It's just a plain reference to Isra Achila, and still the Torah has to go and tell you it's mutter. That teaches you that any reference to Achila automatically includes Hana. So according to Revo, the reason why Chametz is Asur B'Hana on Pesach, the reason why Shar HaNiskel is Asur B'Hana, is not because the Torah employed the term Lo Yachel. Rather, because the Torah referred to Isra Achila, which automatically includes Hana, unless otherwise stated. Says more, but still, it's just a question of derivation. Where do we learn it from? But halachically speaking, there's no nafkamina. Michti, let's analyze again. Bein lamar, asum bano. According to both shitas, Chizkiya and Ravo, chametz and Shar Niskel asum bano. My benai. What is the halachic difference between them? Ike benai. There is one nafkamin. You know what it is? Chulin shenishchtu azor. If one shechts chulin in the azor, the question is it asur bano? Chizkiya savar. According to Chizkiya, the chulin shenishchtu azora will be asur b'hana. You know why? Because he holds that the fact that the Torah used the word lo yachel by chametz and by Shar Niskel limutehani, it's coming to exclude these two cases, meaning to prohibit them from hana. Now we have another pasuk telling us that you can take the treifa animal and throw it to the dog, like kelav tashtichon oisoi, which implies that this heter, this allowance to have hana from the treifa by feeding it to your dog, only applies to oisoi, to the treifa. But otherwise you can't have hana. Oisoi lemu'ute chulin shenishchtu b'azar. It's coming to exclude this case of chulin that were nishchat nazar. It is asur b'hana. So according to Chizkiya, we have this extra pasuk of oisoi to disallow hana by chulin. So that's his opinion, as opposed to Rabbi Yehuda, who doesn't really have that pasuk as an extra pasuk available. Why? Rabbi Yehuda Savar, he holds, and Rashi explains, we're speaking according to Shittas Rabbi Yehuda. You may recall that we had a machlokes by nevela. The Torah gave us two channels of disposing the nevela, either selling to the guy, granting to the ger. Rabbi Meir says you can sell, you can gift it to the ger and the guy. There are no limitations. The Torah is merely allowing us to have hana, which otherwise would not be something we would know on our own, because the Torah references Isra Achila, which includes hana. That's what the Torah had to tell you. No, I allow you to have hana. So according to Rabbi Meir, nevela forms the basis of Rabbi Yehuda's concept. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that the Torah is actually limiting our ability, he's telling us, the Torah is telling us you can only gift it to the ger or sell it to the guy. You can't do things in the reverse. So the Torah here is limiting things, not allowing, not granting. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, nevela can't prove us anything. What's the right? The fact that the Torah has to give you another allowance to have hana, that proves that any reference of Isra Achila includes hana. That's why the Torah has to allow. No, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the Torah is not allowing anything. The Torah is limiting and restricting things. According to Rabbi Yehuda, nevela can't form the basis of Rabbi Yehuda's sheet. Rather, according to Rabbi Yehuda, the shorish, the makar, the source of Rabbi Yehuda will be from that pasuk by treifa. You can toss it to the dog. Al-kel tishtichon oisei. Oisei tells you only this you can feed to your dog. Oisei lemute hani. It's coming to exclude, to limit all other things which are asur b'achila. When it comes to those things, you cannot have hana. So this is the source of Rabbi Avo's concept that any Isra Achila automatically includes Hana, from the word Oisei. So according to that, we don't have Oisei available to tell you that Chulin Shenishchtu B'Azora is Asr. And as a result of that, Rabbi Avo evidently will hold Chulin Shenishchtu B'Azora Lav D'Oraisa Ninu. There's no Isra D'Oraisa, no Isra Hana when it comes to Chulin Shenishchtu B'Azora. Asaisis learns there's no Isra at all. So that would be the halach nafkamina between Chizkiah and Rabbi Avo. According to Chizkiah, we have a pasuk available for Chulin Shenishchtu B'Azora to say that it's Asr B'Hana, whereas according to Avo, at least according to this approach, according to Rabbi Yehuda's approach, that Nevela is not a proper source for his halacha. So apparently he's going to have to go to the pasuk of Oisei, leaving it unavailable for Chulin Shenishchtu B'Azora. So in conclusion, we know that some things are Asr B'Achila B'Hana, Shar Niskel, Chametz Pesach. According to Chizkiah, it's because the pasuk says Lo Ya'achil, which implies also Isra Hana. Chizkiah actually learned this concept from Shratzim, as we mentioned earlier, where the pasuk employs the term Lo Ya'achil, and then has to say Lochem, that you could have Hana. That indicates that Lo Ya'achil always includes Isra Hana. According to Chizkiah, the pasuk Al-Kela Tashtichun Oisei, allowing you to send the treifa to the dog, the Oisei is coming to a mayit, Chulin Shenishchtu B'Azora, that they are Asr B'Hana. According to Ravo, any Isra Achila mentioned in the pasuk, any reference to Isra Achila includes automatically Hana as well. How does he know that? So one option, from the fact that the Torah had to be matur and available Hana, indicates that any Isra Achila is also Asr B'Hana. That's why the Torah had to allow Nevela. Now, if that is the source of Ravo, then we have the pasuk L'Akela Tashlichun Oisei as an available pasuk to teach us that Chulin Shenishchtu B'Azora are Asr B'Hana. Only the treifa you can send to the dog, but Oisei, but everything else like Chulin Shenishchtu B'Azora is Asr B'Hana. However, if Ravo needs the pasuk of Oisei as a mocker for his concept, that you can only toss the treifa to the dog, but other Isurei Achila are also Asr B'Hana, and that is the basis of Rabbi Vo's halacha, then that pasuk is no longer available. And therefore, Chulin Shenishchtu B'Azora, according to this approach, will not be Asr Minater. So we have an afkamina between Chizkiah and Rabbi Avo. Continues the Gemara. We're actually going to have a third source for Rabbi Avo's concept, that something which is Asr B'Achila is automatically Asr B'Hana. Says the Gemara, Yosef Ahum Rabbanon. There was this Chacham sitting Kamei, the Rabbi Shmuel Bar Nachmani, in front of Rabbi Shmuel Bar Nachmani. V'Yosef V'Kamar, and he was sitting and saying over Mishmei in the name of the Rabbi Shmuel Bar Levi. Minnayin L'Chol Yisurin Shabbat Torah. How do we know that pertaining to all Yisurin Shabbat Torah, the Chiyechid Asur B'Achila, just as they are Asr B'Achila, Hachinami Asur B'Hana. Likewise, Asr B'Hana. How do we know? So the Gemara says like this. And what are we referring to? Chametz Pesach v'Shar Niskel. So this is what he wanted to know. How do we know that Chametz on Pesach and Shar Niskel, just as they are Asr B'Achila, they were Asr B'Hana? This is the question that the Chacham asked. And the Gemara responded, Minayin? What do you mean? What do you mean from where? What's the source? Perhaps this was Rav Shmuel responding. Typically, Milay Achil. What was Rav Shmuel Levi wondering? What is the source? What do you mean? The pasuk says Lo Yachil, Lo Yachil Chametz by Chametz, Lo Yachil Spesori by Shar Niskel. Why isn't that a sufficient source? Someone responded, Lo Yachil Isra Achila Mashma Lei. So the Chacham said that Rav Shmuel Levi didn't interpret things in that way. Lo Yachil to him only sounded like Isra Achila. Isra Hana Le Mashma Lei. It didn't sound to him that it's including Hana. So Shmuel responded, okay, Tepuk in Avela. Why couldn't he derive it from Avela? The fact that the Torah had to be Matan Avela B'Hana, doesn't that teach us that any Isra Achila is automatically going to include Hana as well? Sabla Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Levi held like Rabbi Yehuda, the Amar Adoram Kik that the instructions in the Torah gifted to the ger, sell it to the guy, Kik Savan, you meant to follow the instructions strictly as they are stated. So the Torah is actually coming to limit and restrict, not coming to be Mater. So it doesn't form a source for our concept. Okay, if you hold like Rabbi Yehuda, why can't he derive this concept that Isra Achila includes Hana from the same source, the same Makkah as Rabbi Yehuda? You can toss the treifa to the dog. Oisai, just this one, but not other Isur Achila, because they're asabano. Why can't that be the source? Responds the Gemara, because Rav Shua Levi held, chulin shenishchat ba'azor d'oraisa. If you shecht chulin the azor, it's asab not Torah. It is learned from Oisai. Right? Only the treifa can be sent to the dog, but the chulin, the azor, is asabano. So that pasuk is unavailable to teach us what we're looking for. Minayin, okay, so how do we know that anything which is asab b'achila is also asab b'ano? For instance, the chametz of Pesach, the shar niskel. The chsiv, we have another source. Kol chatas asher yuva midama. We're speaking about a chatas whose dam is not meant to be brought into the heichal, the kodesh hakadoshim, but that's exactly what happened. So what does the pasuk say? Be'esh tisaref, it's meant to be burnt. She'en tamad loymar be'esh tisaref. There's really no need for the pasuk to tell us that, because we know that from elsewhere. During the 8th day of the Miluim, Vahibayim Hashmini, one of the karbanos, the chatos, were burnt. And Moshe Rabbeinu asked Aaron, what happened? Perhaps was the dam brought into the oil moed, which can be a reason for burning. So we know the halacha from there. Why does the Torah have to tell us here that if the dam is brought in, it's meant to be burnt? Why does the Torah have to tell us this? If it's not needed for its own sake, because we have the pasuk elsewhere that this type of carbon needs to be burnt, the carbon was burnt. So if it's not needed for the actual halacha of this chatas, this is a formula employed by drushes. If the pasuk is not needed for its own context, we'll go apply it elsewhere. Let's apply it to all the other isurin shebetorah, namely chametz on Pesach, shar niskel, to teach us that it's asr. If it's not needed for the isur achila, because it already says lo yachol chametz, but shar niskel already said lo yachol esvasari, so achila we already know. Tneu inyan l'isur hana. Let's apply this pasuk to teach us, to inform us, to add isur hana as well, and this will be the makar that chametz on Pesach and shar niskel are asr b'hana. Says the Gemara, Ima. If that's the case, if you're going to apply this pasuk to chametz and to shar niskel, Ima kam b'sreifa. If that's the case, then just as over here, you meant to burn it. Av kol yisurin shebetorah b'sreifa. Likewise, those are other yisurin in the Torah. You meant to burn them. You have to burn them. Amakro b'kodesh v'eish tisaref. The pasuk says, b'kodesh v'eish tisaref. What does that teach us? B'kodesh b'sreifa. If a psul happened in the Beis Hamikdash, then you meant to go burn it. That's the only way of disposing the carbon which is possible. But however, when it comes to other surim in the Torah, there's no need to go and burn it. As long as you don't eat it or have anah, you're okay. So we have another approach, another source for the din of chametz or Pesach and shar niskel being asur b'hana, from the pasuk of the chatos v'eish tisaref, which teaches us that in our case, not only can't you eat it, but you can no longer have anah either. Okay, time for a brief chazarav to his daf. Chizki held that lo ye'achel implies also isur hana. Rabbi Yehuda says any reference to isur achila, lo yisaycha includes anah as well. The Gemara has 3 kashas on Rabbi Yehuda, from Truma, from Nazir, from Chadash, where the Torah makes reference to isur achila, but there's still mutar b'hana. The Gemara responded by Truma, it says Trumas Chem, by Nazir Nizroi, by Chadash Tzirchem, which teaches us heter anah. What about by Shratzim? When the Torah says Lo Yachel, which would include even Isra Hana, even according to Chizkiah, the answer is because it says Lachem, and that teaches us Heter Hana. What about Chametz, where it says Lo Yachel? How could Rabbi Yehuda allow Hana? Because it says Lacha, it's coming to allow Hana. The Gemara concluded, is there any machlokes between Chizkiah and Rabbi Yehuda? The Gemara says, yeah. Actually, there'll be one afkamina, which is chulin shenishchatu b'azor. According to Chizkiah, it would be asur b'hana. According to Rabbi Yehuda, perhaps it would be mutter. The question is, do we have a pasuk available to teach you that it's asur? The pasuk would be oisai. La'kel tashlichun oisai. You can toss a treifa to the dog. Only from that you could have hana oisai. But from other things like chulin b'azor, you can't have hana. The question is the word oisai available? So according to Chizkiah, it is. Let's see. Because Chizkiah says only lo yachel includes hana. He learns that from Shratzim. the fact that the Torah has to be mater, shotzim hana, it's only because it says lo yachel. Lo yachel includes hana. That's why the Torah had to go be mater b'hana. That's Chizkiya's approach. According to him, la'kelav tashlichun oisoi is available to tell you, yeah, you can toss this one to the kelav, but the chulin shenishach b'azor is asur b'hana. Rabbi holds any type of reference to Isra Achila in the Torah includes hana. What is his source? We have a choice of 3 makoros, either from nevela. The fact that the Torah allowed you to have hana from nevela, doesn't that imply that otherwise it would be asur because any Isra Achila is asur b'hana? So according to this approach, which is Rameir's approach, the pasuk of al-kelav tashlichun oisai would be available to teach you that chulin sheshvazor is asur. However, according to Rabbi Yehuda's approach, that the discussion by nevela is very restrictive. You have to gift it to the ger, sell it to the guy. So the pasuk is not providing allowance, rather providing restriction. So this can't form a source for Rabbi Yehuda. Rather, the source will be from al-kelav tashlichun oisai. You can toss the treifa to the dog, but other isurim you can't have enough from. If that's the case, the word oisai is unavailable for chulin shenishach b'azor. And finally, we had Rabbi Shimon Levi, who provided the source for isra hana from the words be'esh tisarif stated by Chatas. And according to him as well, the word oisai is available to teach us that chulin ba'azora are asur b'hana.